Backstage with Mothership on Solid Rock Radio begins now. Hear the best in new music, artist interviews, stories from the road, and more. You are now backstage, and here's your host, Mothership.
Hey everybody, I hope you hang around and find out the latest from my guests from Mawcore. Enjoy. I've got some guys from Mawcore here. Introduce yourselves.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Joshua.
Oh, no.
You start. We got that backwards, man.
I'm Joshua.
Yes, and I'm Jeff.
There, now they have the right voices with the right names.
That's right.
And Joshua, you're the lead
really
vocalist.
Deep voice is not Joshua.
I am the lead vocalist by default.
Okay.
I do background vocals by assumption.
And guitar, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
it's a fun guitar, too. Everybody stares at it because it's not played right. So,
Okay, well, you're going to have to explain that a little bit more.
I play a right-handed guitar left-handed because of losing the use of a left arm when I was a child. My mother bought me a guitar. I didn't know I was doing anything wrong. So she bought me a right-handed guitar, and that's why I've been playing ever since, and I really enjoy it.
And I sing with a left-handed microphone, but I hold it in my right hand.
Yes, because he lost his left ear. A teacher kind of grabbed him.
So it covers the wrong side of my face. So if I hold it the right.
Oh, no.
Maybe I ought to use your microphone. I do have a better side.
I see how this is going to go. Okay, so now I got to go back and watch a video of you playing because I have never noticed that.
Usually I have a small pile of young guitarists trying to figure out what chord I'm playing.
They have to turn their head upside down.
And I do a lot of strange tuning, though, so it really messes with their minds. I don't know what that is he's playing up there.
Yeah, we say the same thing.
Yeah.
Is that job security so nobody else can learn the songs?
No, I'm just kind of challenged.
Who is Mawcore? Who else is missing tonight? We've just got the two of you.
Well, we're missing Jeremy. And so, like, when you look at the Jeff, the Josh, and the Jeremy, that's the core, the three J's. But then you got Ryan, who's on drums, and Ben on guitar, and we drag Chris along. He's sort of like our Xanadu. He doesn't really like being on stage unless he's playing drums, but we've never let him play drums.
Okay. And for those of you who don't know who Xanadu is, that would be Family Force 5's mascot for quite a few years, but then he became part of the band eventually.
Yeah, and now he's on the road with Skillet. So
that's exactly right. He's a good friend of mine. I love Don. What does Mawcore mean? Now, I know this, but I'm going to let y'all tell it.
Jeff's the one that discovered it, so he can tell it.
Okay, Jeff.
Actually, Mawcore is a really bad transliteration of a Hebrew word.
Yeah, we say it so wrong.
But it's okay because even when I was with my Hebrew class from Jerusalem University, the teacher kept saying, I think I like the way you say it better than most people because it's not so guttural and doesn't put spit all over your screen. But Mawcore comes out of the Old Testament, and it's actually one of the prophetic names for Christ, the wellspring. Looking at our lives and the way things were going, we really needed to be connected at a deeper level. We were blushing well for so long, and we were just looking for something where, we'd see people not just for a fan or a friend, but we'd see people for life and wanting to add something to their lives so they walk away connected more to wanting to follow Christ because this is his love for them. So Mawcore just is a cool way of saying something pretty guttural in Hebrew, so it works out okay.
But it definitely worked for us because we were at the place where the refreshment had to come to us. And the cool thing about the source is always available. We just have to accept it. It's there. Even though the woman had to go to the well and she found Jesus at the well, she probably could have called from wherever and he would have brought her the living water. So
yeah, he said, I must needs go there. So he felt her need long before she even arrived.
Amen. You just mentioned Blushing Well. Blushing Well was the original name, and was it the same core people or was it a different group?
It was the same core people. Like, we had lost so many members. It was a lot more family than this one is. So you had family and then one drummer who everyone thought was the family member. He actually looked more like the family member than I did because I'm goth. But But he had to leave. He wanted to start a life with his fiance, and then the guitarist left because he needed to raise a family, and so it just stopped feeling like Blushing Well. And then I decided that I was going to go through all kinds of trouble, and I needed to step away from everything, and we just needed a big break, really regather, and I almost wasn't even going to do any music anymore because of how much I had separated myself. But then I sat down at the piano one night, and I just started playing, and it all came back, and I'm like, okay, it's time to start again. So
yeah. The other two core members would get off and pray while you were trying to play, and get off and pray while you were trying to sing. And our hearts were broken before God because we know that God can use us even in our most broken times. You are a blessing, man. You really are.
He could use us because we're broken.
Yes. That brokenness is what connects us, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It is. That's awesome. Tell me, what was the period of time between the two?
Quite a bit of time there. It's hard to remember really, but you're probably looking at 4 years from our last show as Blushing Well until we actually started writing again. Mm-hmm. So it was quite a big time there. Needed to really figure things out.
Yeah.
Now, what was the first EP that came out with Mawcore?
The first EP was called Where Breaking Begins, which is, rightfully named because we didn't have the money we thought, but it just didn't work out. Stuff just didn't work out. So we had to redo it, so we're like, let's put out EPs instead. A good friend of ours who used to work in Nashville, she came beside us and she's like, as the way of marketing goes, you probably should just put together an EP and get it out there. So just pick the songs you think are best and put them out there. So Where Breaking Begins was the first one, and then we put out 2 more EPs after that.
What do you think is the song that is Mawcore?
Bottom Feed probably is the one that's most us, because that really concluded the story, and it really met us where we had kind of advanced in musical styles.
Now tell us about the video that came out in the single Breath. I watched that again tonight. Tell me about that.
Breath actually started a long time ago as a poem that Jeff wrote, and he was watching his family grow up, so he can tell that story about Breath, and then I'll tell the story about the video.
You watch things change as a parent, which I am, and so is Josh now, and you just walk around the house in the middle of the night and you pray for your family and you listen through doors. In the middle of the night, I heard everyone breathe a little different. Then I just thought about all the different meanings of breath. You sit down next to somebody in church and they go, what's that mean? You don't want me to be here? There's a lot of communication in breath, but there is that breath of life that communicates into us eternity. That's kind of where the song came, and then having someone like Josh around to take it and actually put it into music. The first time we did it was pretty bizarre.
I interpreted the poem in my own way, which is what poetry is all about. It's left to personal interpretation. That's the tough thing about being a Christian artist, because from the poetic side of things, you're always trying to sort of leave the story open for personal interpretation. So breath might mean something to somebody else, and that's why it's hard to put together a video. But the video just conveyed that the desperation of life. We take things for granted so often. Everything as simple as that breath. We take the breath that we're given for granted. We take the breath of other people for granted. Even in the moments, like Jeff was saying, that breath that sounds like someone's frustrated with you, you can actually go, well, they know I'm here. And so you can respect that they acknowledge you exist even if they don't want you around. So there's blessing in the breath. And so that's what the song is really all about, is cherishing the breath until we don't have it anymore.
The idea for the video came how far after the song came out?
Well, it came out pretty quickly after we actually recorded the song. Okay. So, yeah, but it came out years after the poem was written.
Okay.
Quite a few.
I also saw that y'all did a Christmas video.
Yeah, we're kind of excited about that, just to be able to put something out. We hesitate with doing anything cover. I love Christmas. I really do. And I've always wanted to do Christmas songs. So I kind of forced the hand of the band, and they begrudgingly did it.
Both hands.
Are you thinking about doing some more Christmas stuff later?
I'm always thinking about it.
Okay.
I'm thinking about all kinds of things because, it's just fun. With this day and age, it's fun to put something even out just for YouTube that we wouldn't maybe play in a concert or something like that. So that's why we did the Beatles cover song. So
yeah.
Yeah.
The writing process for y'all, do y'all write together? How do y'all do that?
Oh, it's hit or miss. Yeah, I mean, this next batch of songs, for the most part, I think it came in with just sort of like something I was humming. I hum it. Jeff translates my hum, and then Jeremy takes the hum and completely redoes it. And
that's right. Doesn't matter what we do.
So if Ben hears something in my hum, that he might try to do something and then we destroy it. And it's just this evolving process where we all take a little bit of part in it. It's hard to pat myself on the back. Without each person contributing, I don't think anything would ever happen.
Sounds like it's a little bit of a formula there.
It's always cool to see what happens after the hum happens. So you hum a little tune. You might have a little ditty, like a little sentence of a chorus, and then you kind of let it go from there. If as the song develops, so do the lyrics. So I usually don't finish lyrics until the songs are done, just because I want to see where the song goes.
Backstage with Mothership returns after this.
Miller Express LLC is a Solid Rock Radio business ministry partner specializing in delivery, setup, and relocation of storage buildings. More info by calling 803-300-7594.
What's on the horizon? Y'all working on some stuff?
Oh my, it feels like we've been working on stuff forever. We keep getting on even our Facebook lives and we feel stupid because we're like, we're almost there. We're almost there, everyone. And it's like, and they're probably just rolling their eyes like, yeah, we heard that 10 years ago.
It's a musician thing. Jason Wisdom said the same thing. If he keeps listening to it, he's going to keep changing it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. I'm on song 3 out of 10 now that I started doing vocals, and I have done easily 40 takes just on song 3, just picking and just being super critical of myself. So
yeah, and then the terror is he still has a band that's wanting to hear what he's singing.
It'll never be what everybody wants because my voice is nothing like what Ben would actually. If Ben put a band together, it would not be me.
What are you talking about?
If Jeremy put a band together, it would not be me. But together we make up Mawcore, which is cool.
That's right. Yep.
That's neat. Yeah, that's what happens with you creatives. Just
That's what you call it.
That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
You've got something, but you don't have a date.
No date, not yet. But I'm feeling pressure big time.
What's the biggest challenge you guys have taken on this year? It could be individually.
That is deep. That's real deep. You're really making us think, Cindy.
I think this, as weird as it is, it's almost like we're trying to find ourselves amidst the masking and only seeing eyes. When we first started trying to get back together, Josh was wise enough to have us Zoom, and you really can't practice doing that.
Not on Zoom. You can't practice over Zoom at all.
No. And then finally being able to get together, there's, we didn't have any fear. I mean, we all had kind of all been through everything, but it's still like there's a lot of misreads, and you don't know how far to push anymore. Josh was the driver. If we had the ability to do it today, it would be done. And because he's just that good of a leader with what he does. It's just that, the leader has to look back and realize, where is everybody? It's just and so he's actually been very gracious to slow down. He probably has a lot of noisy times when no one's around, because we can do that before the Lord. He's got big enough shoulders to take our whining and complaining. Yeah. And the biggest challenge is to be there for other people when things are tough for ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, the biggest challenge was just also realizing I have a wife who's in her nurse practitioner schooling. So that takes a huge balance. I mean, we all balance life and family and stuff. And so it's hard enough to already schedule shows. You have to remind yourself that you're at different stages of life. And so like you look at, say gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And I remember being in that day where like you say, yes, everything. You just go and do it because you can. Yeah. And now it's like you see things, you're like, man, nope, not doing it.
Yeah, they're talking about doing like a 24-hour stream, and I'm like, no.
Yep. You think differently through each stage of life, and this stage of life is unique for each one of us. I don't think there's even one person in the band, even Ben, he doesn't have a direct family to care for. I think he's realizing that he's got a job that he's got to be responsible to. So you kind of hold on to the things that God's blessed you with and balance it with the other things he's blessed you with. So
do you guys have full-time jobs outside of this? What do you do, Josh?
Me, I mostly work for a nursing home. I'm in the maintenance department, and then I balance that with doing homeschool with the kids. So like between my wife and I, we flip our schedules back and forth, and we do homeschool, and we go to work, and she goes to school. So she's basically a full-time employee, and I'm just, that dude that helps out.
That's a lot on your plate.
Yeah, it's a lot on the plate, but we do it. It's fun.
What about you, Jeff?
Right now, I'm classified as a subject matter expert. The company I work for, actually it'll be 35 years this year, I've worked in and among commercial truck tire centers.
He started working there when he was 3.
Yeah. Actually, what's really awesome, the company I work for.
There are no child labor laws in that state?
No.
Not in good old Pennsylvania.
The company I work for started the year I got saved. I joined the company the year that I started learning about what I'm the expert at now. And people rely upon me all across the U.S. and in our company to give them the right answers, compliancy-wise. So I have the opportunity I never would have had behind the pulpit, even though I comfortably stand there and make people uncomfortable. But spending time with CEOs, entry-level people all across America, and being able to let them know that everything is connected to Christ has been an awesome ministry.
That is a great ministry.
He used to do a weekly devotional post, and I started sorting through all his old stuff, and we're going to start sharing it on the website just to put something out there for people to think about, because he thinks really deep and makes people have to think.
Yeah. I posted just a verse or two to look at from Job, and I wanted someone to find out what God said Job did right. Next thing I know, I've got every crackpot in the world telling me how much the Bible's wrong and God is mean and God and the devil are mafia people. I mean, it's like, give me a break, people. I have to be very careful about what I post.
It is a challenge, especially these days. I think that's where we struggle. Like with this whole last project that's out there now for Mawcore, the Mudman project, that really encapsulates what it's all about. That was a growing project. That was a project where I had to get through that project to get to the next phase of Mawcore. And
yep, that was you.
Yeah, I had to get to that project. Mudman was all about breaking and being restored, where God takes that puddle of mud and reforms you and puts you back into where he wants you to be. Because not every time in life we get to actually get refurb. Sometimes he's got to completely gut us from ground up. Now I think we're at the place where we've grown a lot, learned a lot, and I hope that other people sort of are through this whole year, where we are all finding that our voice matters and we must continue to speak regardless of those who don't want to hear it.
That's right.
Backstage with Mothership returns after this. Check us out on Facebook at I'm with Mothership.
Is Mawcore going to be Weekend Warrior? Are we going to do festivals this year? What have y'all considered doing?
We're mainly Weekend Warrior, but we are doing festivals. We're doing any festival that will have us. Like we're going to be at Life Fest, Wisconsin. So we'll be there for 2 days, the 9th and 10th in Wisconsin at Life Fest. And then we'll be down in Nashville on the 30th for Life Fest Music City. Other than that, I haven't gone hard after some of the festivals because we didn't know what this year looked like. We really didn't.
Nobody did.
Yeah. So we really didn't go after it like crazy. And plus, like a lot of festivals had kept their promises from last year. So the bands that are playing this year were already scheduled last year. The only way you get in is if they're a new festival or if somebody dropped out. And I'm not going to sit there and worry about it because God will give us where we want to be. He knew we needed to get an album done too. So we don't have a lot of dates booked, but that's fine.
Sometimes the runner gets there and he really doesn't have his message fully baked. And the Lord's really been working with us through this. The growth among our members of the band has just been amazing. Very painful, but amazing. So.
Speaking of fully baked, you look like that with your glasses on.
Wait, yes. Well, hey, it's been a rough day in the sun. And these are reading glasses. I don't even know why they make sunglasses for reading in the sun, because you put them on, you can't read anyhow. But it's okay, I guess.
He got the readers because the one year at Uprise, most of the pictures that they got of him, he had reading glasses on his shirt, and I'm like, that can't be anymore.
That is not cool enough.
Yeah, what are you talking about? It's a fashion statement,
He now has his readers on his shirt. Okay.
Yeah, Josh falls off stage, doesn't even have a vision problem.
Right, so. I've made a history of falling off stages.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, well, here's some stories then. All right. So what was your most embarrassing stage moment then, Joshua, or off-stage moment?
The most embarrassing on-stage moment was playing way back in the day before Scott Brown started doing Uprise Festival, before he did anything. He used to do these like block party things, and so there was like a farm out in the middle of nowhere in Shippensburg that wanted him to do like a farm party. So they hauled in a tractor trailer. I don't remember what it was.
Flatbed.
It was narrow, and we had very little room. And the stairs, because we didn't have any room, the stairs in the back got blocked. And before we started, go, oh man, I forgot something. I got to run over to the van. I jumped off the front of the stage because the van was that direction. Jumped off the front of the stage, immediately tripped over the light cable running between the two light trees.
Bring the lights down.
I fell on my face, and both light trees came crashing to the ground and blew the breakers. It blew all the breakers. So needless to say, I really made a lasting impression.
All new definition to a light show, right?
Yep. I definitely brought down the house. Oh my.
That's good.
Other than that, we are so professional. We've never had any other embarrassing.
Nothing else.
Yeah, so professional.
You haven't accidentally turned your guitar the right side up, have you?
Yeah, no, I can never make that mistake, but I can press a button and can't figure out why nothing works, or find my guitar completely out of tune because of someone jumping up to my rig and turning a knob. That happened when we played with, what's that little band that has that guy?
What are you talking about?
That little guy.
Kevin and his boys.
Oh, with Disciple?
Yeah.
You're talking about Disciple? Okay.
Yeah, and one of his guys leaned over to my rig and just turned the knob, and what that did was it detuned my guitar in a totally different tuning pitch. And we start the song, and I'm supposed to be running it.
Is it wrong that I'm sitting here trying to figure out which one would have done it? I'm thinking Josiah.
Oh,
no,
Josiah wasn't with them back
then.
then.
It was back.
Oh, before that.
Brad was still in the band. Tim was still playing. It was the bass player guy. I can't remember his name. He was there with them for just like 2 hours.
He was on that side, so.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
All right, let's get that written down. I've been wondering about this for years.
You're going to find out who this is. Oh, my goodness. Tell me, when you are on the road, what's your favorite road snacks?
I'm only allowed to eat vegetables. That's all.
We don't have any money. We don't eat anything. Anything could be our favorite. Can I have that Crustier sandwich, sir?
I guess
when you pull up to either Quick Trip, Sheets, or whatever it is, what do you run in and get?
Vegetables.
You're lying, Joshua.
Josh and I split a sandwich. I take the meat and he eats all the lettuce and tomatoes.
Everything at Sheets used to be fair game. I miss those days. I don't get to have fair game at Sheets. It's still fun to go into Sheets and look around and pretend that I can have it all.
I had to come to Uprise to go to Sheets for the first time.
Yeah, that was.
They don't have them in Georgia.
Not yet. They'll get there. They're working their way down south.
Working their way down. Well, we were on our way up to Uprise, and I saw the sign, and I went, oh, Dan, pull off. There's a Sheets.
Yep.
You know, that's all that Matt Beard talks about.
That's all that everybody looked forward to. Back in the early days when Skillet would come to town, I would have to take John over there. That was our ritual. We would get in the car and go over to Sheets, and that was before he wasn't telling Corey that he was drinking soda.
Dr. Pepper.
Well, at that time, he was doing the suicides, so he was doing it all. He'd just go down the line, just fill it all up.
I have seen him do that, too, on podcasts, yeah. Now, you have worked with Uprise before, because we've seen each other. That's where we actually finally met.
Yep. I was fortunate to be one of the local promoters in the Chambersburg, Pennsylvania area. We were doing like multiple shows, and we felt like we were in competition. So we just finally had a meeting with Scott Brown, and we're like, why don't we just come together and just start doing multiple shows together? And so for quite a few years, we were the promoters in the area, and we would do about 4 or 5 shows a month promotional wise. And then we were approached by the Steve Winfield people. They wanted to do a week-long revival. And they're like, you guys are you're pretty much the premier promoters in the area. Will you promote this for us? You don't have to worry about the budget. We got that taken care of. You just promote it. And so we promoted that, and it went so well that we thought we would do the same thing the next year, but we renamed it to Five Yellow Bugs. and that's how it all started. It started with officially started with Steve Winfield, and then it grew from there. But about the same time that Blushing Well was falling apart, I was bowing out of Uprise. So now I just show up and volunteer. I don't even know what's going on roughly until about the week I get there. And if we're playing, I know that, but we haven't played since 2018.
It's worth the almost 10-hour drive. It's a 2-day trip for us.
Okay.
Because we're old and we have to stop halfway. Our spines can't handle it. But we make a little trip up there, and hopefully we'll be up there this year again. It's my hope that maybe even Germany might happen this year for Loud and Proud. But
okay. Did I see announcements for that already?
We've announced. We did just the same thing. We bumped from a lot of the last year's people to this year, and then kept some of this year's people. They're going to decide in August.
Okay.
So,
all right.
But I'm ready to go back. Oh, it's a wonderful festival.
It looks good from the pictures. It's Germany, so Germany's always excited about music anyway. So
yeah, all the way to the back of the room, everybody's pretty hyped.
That's cool.
That's wild.
Yeah, I love it.
Americans are spoiled.
I'm going to give you one more hard question.
Oh no.
When are you the most happy?
When I'm eating Indian food. That's kind of ridiculous. I was trying to be silly, but it is still really good. Because I'm watching my kids grow up. That brings me joy, is to watch them grow up. And I probably would never believe myself talking to myself back in the day, but it brings me more joy than being on stage ever has.
Yeah.
I'm the further back generation, so I've had the joy of, I used to do area-wide youth rallies, and I was like a solo artist out in the Midwest, not known because of the church affiliation. But it was awesome one day when 2 younger guys said, "Dad, we want to reach our generation." They wanted to do it too. And still the memory of the very first concert just gives me chills when I think about it, of how cool it was, and then how they became such animals in doing what they're doing now. My biggest joy now is when I watch their offspring trying to creatively replicate or show their faith through music and art and stuff like that. It's amazing to watch, even a 2-year-old wanting to sing songs that, I don't think he has a clue, but he does a real good job. And it's, we've got to make space, because the core needs to replicate the core. If we don't leave something for the little ones and we don't build them up, bring them, we're just going to die and it's over. But it's just really cool. Watching the growth of him, I get great joy out of that. Watching the growth of his kids just blesses my soul.
So it kind of comes down to family.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what we have left at the
end of our days. That's who's going to be there. I mean, as long as we haven't treated them like garbage, and and even then, that might be better than us and still be there.
Yeah.
Well, in all these conversations, the only eternity that we've touched is between each of us. Anyhow, it's the people.
Exactly.
God's got a place for us. So,
amen. Is there anything I have not touched on that you guys wanted to share?
I think we talked about the festivals we're playing, and if people really want to know more about Mawcore, they can go to mawcore.com and they can see what's going on there. If they really want to be involved in what we're doing, they can follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. If they really want to be even more heavily involved, they can, give us money. Money always shows how much they love us.
I was trying to find our band fund. It's full of pens right now.
No one's going to see it.
That's right. This is radio, Jeff. Come on.
Just so you know, there's a jar. So if you want to drive to Jeff's house and put some money in the jar, you can.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime to drop money in the jar.
We have a lot of people that volunteer to pray for us, which is awesome. I mean, that's a really big thing. God moves in prayers. That's our number one battle tool, I think. If we don't have prayer, then everything else sort of falls by the wayside. So,
amen. Thanks again. Hopefully we'll see you either on the road or up at Uprise soon.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
That'd be great.
All right. Thank you. Good night, guys.
Good night to you too.
Thank you for listening tonight. Stay tuned for more great music all night long. Be sure to check out my I'm With Mothership Facebook page and Solid Rock Radio's website. Follow the link under shows to Backstage with Mothership, which will have the links to my guests' social media accounts. This show will be replayed at 4 a.m. Eastern Time. Past interviews available on podcast.solidrockradio.org, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on Pandora platforms. And remember this week, be kind to one another.